So this is the first video I'm filming of 2025. Yesterday, we put one out that I filmed before the new year. I was off on New Year's Day, so I wanted to start off this video officially by saying my thoughts and my prayers are out with the entire city of New Orleans and state of Louisiana and all the families and anybody affected and impacted by the terrible, horrible incident that happened on Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve. It's a horrible thing. I cannot believe that our country still has to deal with this kind of stuff, but my thoughts, my prayers are out to the entire state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans, and what's about to be the worst transition in all of sports podcasting history. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. So the New Orleans Saints have the chance to do the funniest thing ever this upcoming week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I understand that there's probably still a lot of, negative thoughts and bad just feelings going on around the city of New Orleans. So if you can find this video, I hope you find a little bit of joy in this and I can at least put a slight smile on your face. But I want to just encourage you really quick to subscribe and join the watch party. It's the last watch party of the season. We've gone live through all of the preseason games. We went live for every single game this year. We did a Madden simulation for all of the games in the last offseason. So this will be the first break we get in a while from doing any sort of live football content. We're still going to be doing live shows throughout the week, all throughout the offseason, during the draft, during free agency especially, but no more watch parties because the Saints are going to be out of the playoffs. So unless we want to do something for like the Super Bowl or want to do something for the playoffs, this will be the last watch party of the season. So I hope to see you guys there. Subscribe and join us. We'll be live at 11 a.m. Central Time. Now the Saints have the chance to do the funniest thing ever. Here's what I mean. The path to the playoffs. It's really, really funny. It's really, really funny for the Atlanta Falcons specifically because right now they've dug themselves into this whole after losing to the Commanders last week. They now need the Saints to beat the Bucs, and then they have to handle their own business and beat the Panthers in order to make the playoffs. Now, beating the Panthers shouldn't be much of a problem for Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons. However, we saw the Panthers. They're starting to play a little bit scrappier football. They're starting to play a lot better. They beat the hell out of the Saints when they took on New Orleans a handful of weeks back. But they also need the Saints to beat the Bucs because right now the Buccaneers control the NFC South. So in my personal opinion, I actually think that is absolutely hysterical. That after all of the issues that the New Orleans Saints have had, after all of the problems, after all of this entire disastrous season, the Buccaneers and the Saints, they control the Falcons' destiny. Isn't that hysterical? I mean, no question about it. This has been a terrible season. This year has been a disaster. There is no doubt about it. However, when it comes down to this, I do think it's hysterical that the Falcons need us. Like, all of the things to consider. I mean, the fact that the Falcons were very active in this offseason, the fact that they were very active leading up to week 1. I mean, isn't it so funny that after all of the problems, after all the shit that Falcons fans talked, after all the mess that the Falcons have tried to create, after all of that they've tried to do this entire year, they need us. They need us to win. So Falcons fans, if you're watching, get down in the comment section and give me a big old hoot at down below. But I mean, look at this. This is just hysterical. A poverty franchise through and through. They spent $180 million and a top 10 pick on 2 quarterbacks in the same offseason. Less than 40 days apart. Isn't that funny? Isn't that just so damn funny? And they're still going to miss the playoffs. Oh, they also traded away a 3rd-round pick for Mathieu Judon. I mean, I'll give them a little bit of credit. Their pass rush is starting to kind of take off a little bit now, but all for what? They're still not going to make the playoffs. Oh, yeah, they signed Justin Simmons. I was the leader, and I was a big part of the Saints should go sign Justin Simmons. Well, they did that, and they're still going to miss the playoffs. Oh, and by the way, they have the easiest schedule in the entire National Football League. Don't get it twisted. It was not the Saints. The Saints had one of the easiest, but the Falcons had the easiest one. All of this right here, and then some more. Just for the New Orleans Saints to have to come and bail your ass out. Isn't that hysterical, Atlanta? So what would you rather do? Would you rather lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so the Falcons miss the playoffs? Or would you rather beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go out on a win, beat the Bucs, F them? They're not as much of a rival as the Falcons are, but just F them. Or would you rather beat Tampa Bay so the Atlanta Falcons have the chance to make the playoffs? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And coming up next, there is still, believe it or not, a few things that the New Orleans Saints can still play for in Week 18. I'm going to dive into what those are here in just a moment. And really quick, new year, new me. Got to give a big time shout out to Tushy Bidets for sponsoring today's video. And finally, a resolution that isn't a pain in the ass. Tushy Bidets fits on your toilet in under 10 minutes, and it improves your health and saves you money every single time you flush the toilet. And I love my Tushy Bidet. I use it every single day and, sometimes multiple times a day. But the Tushy Bidet it easily attaches to your existing toilet seat without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. Installation is simple. It takes about 10 minutes to complete. Literally anybody can do it. It's so easy to use. You sit down, do your business, and then you turn the knob for a refreshing stream of clean water. Once you're done, simply pat dry with toilet paper. Instantly improve your health from the bottom up. For a limited time, our listeners at Saints Now by Chat Sports get 10% off their first bidet when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code CHAT to keep that hiney shiny. Visit hellotushy.com/chat. The link is also in the comment section and description of this video. Thank you, Tushy, for sponsoring today's program. You guys got to get started. Keep that hiney shiny. Keep that bathroom from smelling absolutely rank. Alrighty, so the big thing that I want to see this coming up week is I want to see more from Spencer Rattler. The Saints have a lot of things to still play for, and one of those is the development of a rookie quarterback. And to be totally honest, he needs to respond well from last week. It was terrible what he put up against the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, 20 of 36 isn't all that bad, but 218 yards. He had a touchdown, 2 interceptions. One of those was off a tipped ball. One of those was in garbage time trying to just make something happen. He did get sacked. He got sacked 3 times, which is something that I'm not jazzed about, considering the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, he actually had a really good game against the Washington Commanders. Did not take a sack in that second half of action, but this is actually the same team that he got his first career start against. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 6 gave Spencer Rattler a run for his money, and early on, he actually was firing on all cylinders, and he looked really good. And if you're looking at a rookie quarterback in a bad situation, you see these stats you see on your screen, you're actually not going to be sitting here saying, oh my God, this guy sucks. But it hasn't gotten all that much better ever since he's took over in Week 6, and then he played against the Broncos, the Chargers. He got a little bit of a break and then took over in the second half against the Commanders, was the starter against the Packers, and then obviously started last week against Vegas. And it just was not good. I mean, he's shown flashes, he's shown spurts, but he hasn't put an entire game together yet this season. And to be honest, I think this is a good challenge for Spencer Rattler because Tampa Bay is playing for their playoff lives, meaning that this is not just going to be a game where Spencer Rattler is going to be able to go play against a bad opponent who's just going to roll over and let him have a good game. Like, I really want to see Spencer Rattler show us something and show us something to be excited about going into this offseason, because when it comes down to Rattler, he has shown flashes, but he hasn't shown consistent good football. And so fans out there that are against Spencer Rattler starting, I could understand he's not playing good football. I get that. But to sit here and say he sucks and he's the worst thing that ever happened to this team is a total lie. You're just being pessimistic about nothing. But Spencer Rattler, he likely will get the start this week as Derek Carr continues to rehab from his injury. Mike Triplett putting this out there the other day. Darren Rizzi adding some context that they're going to try and test Derek Carr's functionality on Thursday or Friday. They're going to put him through game simulations, see if he's able to take a full workload and all that good stuff. So whether or not he's able to play, still up in the question. Darren Rizzi is actually going to leave the door open for both Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara to possibly return. But I expect Jake Haener to not get the start. I expect Spencer Rattler to get the start if Derek Carr is unable to go. But like I just mentioned, Alvin Kamara, the door is still open for him to return, and he's just 50 yards away from getting his first ever 1,000-yard rushing season of his entire career. I mean, he's had an illustrious, very successful, very good NFL career up to this point. But right now the question is, will he play? I mean, he's still dealing with the groin injury. Darren Rizzi is not closing the door on him, but on Wednesday, it was not seen at practice. As of right now, at the time of filming this video, Thursday, January 2nd at 1 p.m. Central Time, we do not know whether or not he's practiced the upcoming days. Of course, we're going to let you guys know in our next video what's going on with Alvin Kamara and what's going on, whether or not he will play. But I really want to see him take the field. I want to see him get those last 50 yards. And I will add this, Darren Rizzi did say that he's not going to risk the future of his athletes just for one game that's quite honestly a meaningless game. So don't expect Chris Olave to go. Maybe Alvin Kamara will go, but don't expect Derek Carr to go either. And, you know, there is the reality, and there is the whole thing of the Saints, if they lose, they can get a better draft pick. Well, I'm here to tell you, honestly, the best that you're going to do is maybe, if everything goes right, the best you could get up to is, I believe, the 7th overall pick. But you're going to be picking anywhere between 8 and 10. You're not going to get any worse of a pick. You're not going to move up to 11, 12, 13. You're more than likely going to pick at number 10 just in overall. But I would expect that draft pick to be anywhere between 8 and 10. So really, if you want to get much higher than that, I mean, just a lot has to happen. All the teams that are above you have to lose, but then or they have to win, but then they have to be teams that the Saints lost to as well. So it's only a handful of teams that really can do that. So there's just a lot of issues in terms of, or a lot of hurdles to jump in terms of getting to a really high pick. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th pick, one of those in that range. But Foster Moreau did add context in terms of what else they're playing for, and I really got to be honest, it fired me the F up. There's plenty of the fan base that wants us to lose so we can get a better draft pick. I'm not blind to that. They can think that all they want. People have to play with passion. They have to play with pride, and they have to play for each other, and they have to play for their job. And I'm going to be totally honest. In this entire clip, New Orleans.football, they did Nick Underhill, their entire team does a phenomenal job. But he put out an interview in a post-game in the locker room after the Raiders game, and he did not hold back. He said all of the things, quite frankly, that needed to be said. He said all the things that make you a little bit uncomfortable if you're in that locker room, which is what needs to be said. And I think he brings up really good points. Look, you're not going to just go out and not put up good tape. You're not going to go out there and not try. You're not going to go out there and intentionally lose and tank so that your team that you may or may not even be around for can have a better pick. When he went on to say, when you're putting together this tape, you're putting together your resume. And when you're focused on putting together a resume, it's because you're likely out of a job. It's because you're likely trying to make a case for yourself to be signed by another team. And to be totally honest, I mean, Foster Moreau just hits the nail on the head. He continued to say, in reality, you got to play for pride. And you got to play for not only the name on the back, but the name on the front and the logo of this on the side of your damn helmet. That's a fact. I'd love to see us get back to doing that. And I agree wholeheartedly with everything that Foster Moreau said. And to be totally honest, the New Orleans Saints need a leader like Foster Moreau. They need somebody to be saying those things like Foster Moreau is saying. And I would love to see Moreau be a part of this team for the long-term future because he understands what it means to be a New Orleans Saint. He's seen the Saints be successful. He's seen the Saints not be successful. He's lived, he's breathed, he's seen all of the things that the New Orleans Saints does for the community. And right now, especially, he understands what the New Orleans Saints need to do in order to uplift this community and in order to turn things around and give them a product that they can be proud about. So, Foster Moreau, I just want to say kudos to you for all of those great things. Still a lot of stuff to play for this week. Obviously, the Saints aren't going to make the playoffs, but hey, you do have the chance to make the Falcons not make the playoffs, which, hey, in hindsight, I guess that's a good consolation prize. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 40K. We're so close. You also can like the video to support the show, help more Saints fans find our content. And then you can also get down in the comment section. I love chopping it up with you guys, and I love responding to y'all's comments. So y'all stay golden. Thank you so much for watching. Again, prayers and thoughts out to the city of New Orleans and the entire state of Louisiana. It's horrible. Y'all stay golden. I love every single one of you, and we'll see you next time.